I came to murder the gods, not to become one.
That's such a good line. Now, a singular character that shares your journey throughout your Warframe playing experience, as much as the Lotus, if not more, is also one that has probably the saddest story in-game. Some of you might even have him muted as a result of him being broken, him mocking your fashion sense. He has of course lost parts of his memory as well, some on purpose so as not to remember who he once was and hurt the operator as a result, and he is prone to outbursts as if he has two personalities, and that's because he kind of does. But at the same time, his backstory is one of the most interesting as well, and one that I would really love to hear more of from the developers down the line, even if it is through eternalism and finding another version alive in a different plane of existence. Of course, I am talking about Ordis, our main companion, once a mercenary crippled with dreams of his past deeds, a mercenary that was offered immortality but instead betrayed his masters and as a punishment was turned into a cephalon.
I have hidden the truth of my existence from the operator, from myself. Take it from me, knowing is hell. Stop now. You will want to laugh, you will want to scream.
And like a lot of Warframe lore, his is heavily fragmented. We know very little about who he once was before, beyond the cephalon fragments, as Ordis tells us the story of his final bloody interaction with his Orokin masters. Ordis, or Ordan Karris, of course, was the Beast of Bones.
The phantom memory. I ease into the bath. My skin riots at the heat. I am flesh. I dive further, eyes stung as I watch their faces through prism. I hold my breath. They prepare me. I am their honored guest today. They dress me in robes of crystal thread. They adorn me in battle medallions. A torn, ugly face looks on, my reflection. Their golden combs snag in my hair. I reach back, parting the strands, and they gasp. Two bone ivory hooks protrude from the base of my skull. The bone plugs of me and my best, a warrior's pact. It is my time. I enter the great hall to sound of foul chimes. Golden eyes greet me, hands stirring in my scent as I pass by. Even in this moment, no happiness. Instead, my heart races with hatred. I walk through the silky haze of the Forbidden Palace. I can think of no one being this close to Orokin. Their sweet air soothes me, erodes my purpose. I hold my breath and remember the dream. This dream, endlessly repeated. Exposure armored, holding my scarlet sword, I stand victorious atop a vast heap of death, a colossal moon made of rib and skull, the gravity sum of genocides I've made in their name. The bones crack underfoot, so I sink in the dream, bone sand rushing through the cracks of my visor, filling my helmet and suffocating me. And I deserve it. The foul chimes snap me back. My wretched knees are bent and penitent against the golden floor. A harpish voice sings a song they've prepared in my honor. Its title the same as mine, Beast of the Bones. I feel the crowd pulled inward, enraptured by the brutal verses, the sickening chorus. I will not disappoint them. The song ends, and so he says, "Rise, Ordan Karris." I have never seen an Orokin close and in the flesh. My battered face flushes at their peerless beauty. How can he be so perfect? A deception? A sense manipulation? He holds the red vial in his hand. Impossible! He calls out, "No greater gift, no greater prize, no greater love we can give you, Ordan, than this." He raises the red vial and proclaims, "To be one of us." What did I expect, operator? Maybe vast riches or golden statues, or a solar rail named in my honor. But not this. I came to murder the gods, not to become one. The chamber drones with their silk voices. Joyous words, how honored I must feel. Wrong. Did I want to be an Orokin, undying? No. Their beast of bones is haunted by the dream repeated. Why would I want forever? As I am apt to do, I form a plan. Their radiant bodies become targets. Their Dax guards, mag shields. Killing one, well, that's too easy. I want to be remembered. I raise my hands, twisting my fingers through my hair, gripping the bone plugs in my neck. They called us mercenaries, but for us, profit was a consequence, not a goal. We were warriors above all else. It was the bond, the sisters and brothers, the rituals we valued most. It was belonging. And so I conceived of the bone plugs. Only my best were so honored. 2 jagged bones harvested from your thigh, cultivated, and then driven into the base of the skull, twisted around the superior vein. Future thoughts of surrender were lost. Instead, you would liberate your bone plugs, fighting with claws in the warmth of your last blood. So I've pulled the plugs, and the Dax see and know. My heart surges, but I control it. A racing heart only shortens the fuse. The bone plugs in hand, I kick from the floor, red ribbons unfurling behind me as I take flight. After this, finally, the dream will end. I glide on red wings. Robes shed, making me an ambiguous target to Dax steel. I let fly my ivory blades. They find new homes in Dax eyes. I land with my red nakedness, delicate Orokin throats twisting in my calloused hands. Why? Believe me, this was the plan from the beginning. The murder and brutality was all a ploy, all a soul sacrifice to earn their trust. A genocide path leading to a singular opportunity. An honored mortal called to a forbidden hall to face the Golden Lords in flesh. Why? Believe me, I was their loyal, murderous dog, until the day that ugly child was brought to me. He was caught spying on us, amplifying our losses. His face burned. He was starved sick like a stray. Ugly as I. It struck me. We were all pit dogs, ruining ourselves for the pleasure of the glorious and beautiful. Why? Believe me, I was a prideful beast. Twisted in the mind, howling in the carnage. Then my healer shared a secret, long kept. My blood was in ruin. The beast of bones himself would die, not in glory, but in shame. And just like that, my mind twisted a new knot. I would have one last stand, something unforgivable, unforgettable. Why? I don't know. Questions change the answers. Answers depend on who asks. Truth leads to pain. Ignorance brings relief. The plugs are gone, and so I bled my last. Into a heap of ruin. In an instant. Naked and bare-knuckled, I have killed immortals. I stare, drained of blood, of life, at those that remain. But I find no horror on their faces. Why? I let out a cruel howl and they laugh? Is this a dying hallucination? The sound of applause grows among them. I have killed the unkillable, and they are delighted. The applause peaks and fades. I feel a sense of shame, but the end is upon me. Ballas is above me, executor of the seven, smiling. He says, "How simple and pure you are, you idiot beast. We have died countless times, yet remain eternal. I close my eyes to die just once." And so the dream returns. One last repetition. My corpse moon, my scarlet sword, my cracked visor. "Drink," says Ballas. So I draw on the red vial, a vague metallic taste. "This dream isn't mine," he says. "You rejected our gift, bathing in our death. Your punishment is eternal life." He laughs.
I was once the ugly beast of bones. I want to laugh. I want to scream. What is happening, operator? Your faint heart is growing bright. You will awake at any moment. Well, I can't let you see me like this, angry. I imagine myself hurting you. And that does it. The pain of it cracks me open again. I watch tiny glittering fragments fall into the pit. I am happy again.
Sentenced to eternal life as a Cephalon, reprogrammed to serve us by Ballas, his hatred, of course, was replaced with love for the operator. The idea of a Cephalon as a whole in this universe gets a lot deeper when you accept that they were actual humans once before they became imprisoned, encased in glass and reprogrammed for whatever the Orokin deemed a crime in their eyes, which could be a minor thing. A servant simply looking at a vial of red kuva apparently was punishable by death or even glassing. They were honestly a vile, twisted, gluttonous race, and the more I read up on the Orokin, the more twisted they get. Ordan Karris, in his own words, was a prideful, twisted mercenary, a warrior whose blood was in ruin, which I assume means he may have been dying and decided to go out in a blaze of glory or with a bang instead of accepting eternal life, where he would have to relive that dream over and over again as he stood on top of the mound of bones, red sword in hand. He willingly committed genocide in the name of the Orokin, so I guess his hands aren't clean either, until one day he realised he was nothing but a pit dog ruining his life for the pleasure of the decadent and corrupt golden gods. But after turning on them in one final bloody killing spree, they cheered and laughed as he lay dying on the ground, knowing full well that the red kuva would mean they would live on and he would die. He gave them a show, but picture that image of him pulling the bone plugs and draining his life as he flew on red wings. It's such a powerful image. The red wings, of course, being his blood as he jumps into the air, bone blades in hand, and proceeds to chop them down. So kudos to the writers for that one line about those red wings. Now, Ordis eventually remembers who he was as we lay sleeping our long sleep before Warframes wake up and the game starts. Mere seconds away from self-destruct, we wake up and he stays his hand on that self-destruct. Instead, he hides who he once was, throws his memories down into the pit again so as not to remember. So next time Ordis glitches out in-game or talks about bloody battles or being angry or mocks your fashion, remember who he was. His true nature is in there somewhere, screaming, the beast of bones. And let me know in the comment section below what you think of Ordan Karris. If you would love to hear more of his past story prior to that final interaction with the Orokin where he pulled those bone plugs, I'd love to know what he actually did for them, those genocides, what worlds, I guess, or what battles he took part in. Have a great day, and as always, thanks for watching.